1975 was a great year for film. Indeed, by today's standards, it would be fair to call it a stellar year. Nowadays, you barely get 2 or 3 films worthy of note, but 1975 was the year of Tommy, the rock opera, Mandingo, the Rocky Horror Picture Show, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Dog Day Afternoon, and The Man Who Would Be King, starring Michael Caine and Sean Connery. Then in 1975 came a film that had something for everyone. Eclipsing the majority of those in the above list was a little Steven Spielberg offering called Jaws. Jaws struck genuine fear into the sun-seeking masses who flocked to the beach in the height of the summer, scaring the pants off those pale-skinned tourists scoffing gallons of ice cream dripping in the sun oil and looking forward to a carefree dip in the sea. Empire magazine voted it 5th greatest film ever made, the New York Times featured it as one of the 1,000 best movies ever, and the American Film Institute included it in their choice of the 100 greatest American films of all times. Jaws scooped up a respectable 3 Academy Awards and was nominated for Best Picture. It was in this movie that 2 stars, the giant mechanical shark and Robert Shaw's character Quint, began the road to closure for hundreds who had served and had family that had served on the USS Indianapolis, and most of all, their captain. Hey everybody, it's the History Buff here. If you like what you're watching, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It's free. Don't forget, thumbs up are always appreciated, and ring that bell if you want to see the next thing to come down the pike from the History Buff. Thanks so much for watching. Here's the rest of the video. 30 years before Jaws was released, on July 30th, 1945, the USS Indianapolis was torpedoed by a Japanese submarine and sank within minutes in shark-infested waters. Only 316 of the 1,196 men on board survived. Many had been eaten by sharks. However, the Indianapolis had already completed its mission, the delivery of key components of the atomic bomb to Amity Island in the South Pacific. The Indianapolis made its delivery on July 26th. The mission was top secret and the ship's crew was unaware of its cargo, leaving it radio silent. After leaving Tinian, the Indianapolis sailed to the U.S. military Pacific headquarters at Guam and was given orders to meet the battleship USS Idaho at Leyte Gulf in the Philippines to prepare for the invasion of Japan. Shortly after midnight on July 30th, halfway between Guam and Leyte Gulf, a Japanese sub blasted the Indianapolis, sparking an explosion that split the ship and caused it to sink in approximately 12 minutes, with about 300 men trapped inside. Another 900 went into the water, where many died from drowning, shark attacks, dehydration, or injuries from the explosion. Help did not arrive until 4 days later on August 2nd, when an anti-submarine plane on routine patrol happened upon the men and radioed for assistance. On August 6th and 9th, 1945, the United States dropped the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki respectively. But meanwhile, the U.S. government kept quiet about the Indianapolis tragedy until August 15th. In order to guarantee that the news would be overshadowed by President Harry Truman's announcement that Japan had surrendered. In the aftermath of the events involving the Indianapolis, the ship's commander, Captain Charles McVay, was court-martialed in November of 1945 for failing to sail in a zigzag course that would have helped to evade enemy submarines in the area. McVay, the only Navy captain court-martialed for losing a ship during the war, committed suicide in 1968 due to the guilt. Many of his surviving crewmen believed the military had made him a scapegoat. In the summer of 1975, the irony of ironies happened. A giant great white shark movie brought to light the story of the USS Indianapolis. A movement had started, and a new generation wanted to know more about the truth of the graphic monologue told by Robert Shaw's character in the movie. Many were surprised to find, indeed, it was real. In 2000, 55 years after the Indianapolis went down, Congress cleared Captain McVeigh's name. So we thank you, Steven Spielberg, for your service and your movie and your shark. Now you know your history.